What's going on, everybody? In this video, we're going to be adding on to the dual exhaust system that I made in a previous video. In that video, I customized and built this header, and in this video, we're going to be getting some extra pipe. We're going to be welding that onto there, and then this is going to run under the side, and with a little pipe that's going to come out the side right here, and it's going to exit out on the side. It's going to be the same kind of exhaust as the off-road mower, but it's going to be one on each side. So let's get to it. Here's the exhaust for the off-road mower, and this is on the single cylinder. As you can see, we're going to do the same exact thing to the racing mower, because this is a 1-inch pipe into a 2.5-inch pipe, and that just runs straight out the side. So currently, the way it stands, it is extremely loud and makes a lot of popping sounds as it would on a open header. And the reason I'm going to have that small pipe go into this 2-inch pipe, it'll kind of give it a thump 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 sound and a pop 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 sound, and just kind of give it a deeper tone. But anyway, that's going to sit under there. So this right here is in theory my muffler, even though there is no muffler system at all in this thing, but in theory it should be quieter. This right here used to be the exhaust on the off-road mower. This is a 4-inch pipe, which is just way too massive, coming out the side right here. And the reason why I changed the exhaust is because, number one, this thing was just way too massive. Number two, when I would go cut the engine off, it would pump a lot of raw fuel in this exhaust, and then it would just go boom right at the end. It would about, scare you half to death. But I had this pipe just laying around and decided just to throw it together, and yeah, it came out nice. But I am thinking about putting this exhaust on my Arctic Cat 300 because the muffler is just way too quiet on that thing. So that might be a future video, because it does look like an ATV exhaust. And if you do look down here, this is also the glass pack I pulled out of the truck. The reason I took it out is because it wasn't as loud as I thought it was. It just seemed like I was driving around the stock exhaust 90% of the time. I mean, it has a little bit of sound to it, but it's not as loud as I would like it. So I just put in a full straight pipe right there. Still has the cowling converters on it with no muffler, but it has a pretty good tone to it now. I was thinking about putting it on the mower, but as you can see, that thing is just way too massive and just won't go in there. So what I'm gonna do now is put this on, kind of tweak everything, and tack it in place. Now, I normally don't really film the tacking part, but this time I thought I'd do so, because this is one of the tedious parts. Might have to redo it. So I did in fact get both sides tacked in place for 3 positions. And I will say the number one complaint with flux core welding is that whenever you're welding and you let off and it cools down from like the little orange lava pit, and when you hit the trigger again, sometimes the crap don't want to take because there's so much flux just all around that it covers up your welds, and you can't get ground and you can't weld. And it's really frustrating sometimes. You gotta go over the thing with the wire brush every time and re-tack it. So that's one of the number one complaints I have, but I mean, it's all I have, so that's what I'm gonna use. So I did in fact get everything adjusted pretty good. So now I'm gonna unbolt the exhaust and remove it so I can finish welding this area. I didn't wanna weld that and that together all in one, because I ever need to remove the exhaust, there will be absolutely no way I can do that. So what I'm gonna do is we'll have a plate right here, drill a hole in it, so that way this pipe will just slide right into that pipe right there, and that'll seal about 95% or so, and that can just make its way on the back. And if I need to remove the exhaust, all I gotta do is undo the hose clamp, remove this muffler, and just take the exhaust off. Now this center part right here is to help conjoin cylinder 1 and cylinder 2 together to kind of balance out the sound a little bit. Now I know it's not going to work 100% efficient. The real efficient way is have one pipe coming in here and the other one coming together into like a pipe and then split out into 2 pipes. That's the real way on how to do it, but I had no space to do that with, so this is the only way that I can conjoin the 2 pipes together. So here's the top plate it'll go like this with the hole drilled in it, welded into place. I thought the camera was recording, but apparently it wasn't. But no big deal, it's just welding, you get it. So I'm gonna go over here now and put this thing on the bench grinder. All right, so now with this all welded up, I'm gonna put it in the vise and drill a hole so the exhaust pipe will pass through. Man, that slides on there perfectly. A little fun fact, this pipe that you see here that I'm gonna use as my muffler used to actually be a swing set that used to sit right here that I used to play on a long time ago. It just kind of gotten worn out and some people came and hauled off all the main stuff, but luckily we kept this piece of pipe and it's just been sitting back there. So I just thought about it and went back there and I found it and I'm like, yeah, this would work perfect as my exhaust. All right, so now the camera's recording, so now let's get the other side done. This is very thin metal, by the way. I have the voltage on 1, it's still blowing through. Welding this kind of metal is a real pain in the butt because, you know, the welds look like crap. You just keep blowing through. So I test fitted both pipes and I kind of drill them on one side like that so I can adjust them if I want to go out here or in, or same thing on that side. They fit really nice, so I'm going to take this header off and finish welding this area right here, and then I'm going to go to town, get something to eat, get some hose clamps to clamp that up there, and probably make another mount for the rear, and then I'll get a extra pipe to go out the side like here. And it should be good. So you can see why I wanted to make this 2 separate pieces. So that way the exhaust will come off nice and easy. So there you go. This actually looks like a real car header, actually, because both pipes are coming down like that. All right, so there we go. Just finished welding it. Yes, I know there's some ugly, ugly looking welds, but number one, this is a very, very thin tube that I'm welding up against galvanized, which you're not supposed to weld, but you know, has to be done, and I've done it anyway, and I'm fine. So yeah, I decided not to weld this area solid because when I put the exhaust on, sometimes that has to maybe flex around and move around a little bit in order to compensate to go in the hole. And I don't want to weld that up and be screwed if I put my exhaust back on and everything won't work, because that wouldn't be good. All right, so I was getting back from the store, got my 3.5-inch hose clamps, and yeah, you see a turn down pipe, and if you look down here, the turn down pipe is on the actual pipe right here. So this is a 2-inch inside diameter. I was very, very, very skeptical that this was going to fit over here, or it was going to be the same size, and turns out it just fits over this pipe, which is freaking awesome. So I did in fact just get it halfway mounted, and I'm going to mark the edge of that and then measure it out somewhere right here, mark it, and then cut that. So now these pipes are 10.5 inches long, and again we got our turn down pipe. Well, it's actually going to be a turn outside pipe, but anyway, as you can see, it's going to struggle while I'm on camera, but, well, there you go. Now you can see. So that's going to get put on like there. And, yeah, I'm going to put this on and then show you what it looks like. All right, so the moment of truth. The exhaust is on there. And, no, I didn't really film it because it was a lot of trial and error. But anyway, I got the hose clamp around there, and I have a bolt sticking through there, running to the bottom with a hose clamp around that, and the same thing on the other side. It's kind of hard aligning this perfectly, having them both come out in sort of the same spot and sort of the same angle. There you go, you can kind of see that side. This side is kind of a little bit more out or in or whatever, but I mean, unless I tell someone, they're not going to notice it. I mean, it looks pretty good. So let's put this thing on the ground and crank it up. It is actually a lot quieter. I guess that resonation chambers I put on it is kind of getting rid of all the popping noises. It has a very nice low tone throaty sound to it. I really like it. Wow, this is one of the best sounding things I think I have right now. Besides the racing go-kart, which this is the best single cylinder sounding engine. It sounds like a Lamborghini when you're sitting in it. It's like the supercar of go-karts. But this is a twin, specifically an opposed flathead twin. It's not ear-piercing loud, and it's not super quiet like a stock exhaust that nobody cares about. So this channel's been on for about 2.5 years, and you know the drill. Click all the other buttons YouTubers tell you to click. If you didn't like this video, click on thumbs down twice because 2's better than 1. 3 more doesn't work. As we all know, that doesn't count for likes. And yeah, y'all should see me in the next one.